Hello everyone, and welcome to my second video, number 2 of series of videos that are going to be appearing hopefully in my channel, discussing mental health, mental disease. It's not something always pleasant to talk about, but it's something that needs to be talked about, and it needs to be talked about more. This one, I consider this video more of a part 2 to my first video, which I was kind of describing a few things. I gave a few explanations and descriptions of what I hope my channel will be about, and also about interactions that I hope to have between myself and fellow people on the internet around the world, based on the subject of mental health in general, as well as mental disease. It needs to be spoken of, especially these days. I'll mention this one more time. It'll probably be the last time, but hopefully, if people ask me in the future, I'll explain, because it is important. Obviously, this is not my handsome face. It's obviously a filter. The reason I wear it is so people to be fully transparent. Is not to protect my identity. Not worried about that. However, for me to be genuine and to really explore everything in my life to happen with the people out there, and even with myself, with these videos that I'm going to make, I have to name people. I have to name friends, and I will have to name people in my family, including my immediate family. And sometimes the things are good, and sometimes the things are bad. And it wouldn't be fair to them for me to say their names and describe them and without their permission. I don't plan on getting their permission. I wouldn't get their permission anyway, especially with certain people. So I'm not even going to bother to get people's permission. I will just simply talk of them in general terms, not mention any names, or for that matter, real names. And this way, their identity is protected, and I can speak freely and express myself honestly, which is very important to me, especially in these videos in this channel. That is the whole point. And I don't have to worry about any repercussions. But even better than that, I don't have to worry about, did I hurt anybody's feelings? Is anybody mad with me? Because you just simply don't know. And you simply don't know how sometimes what you say, what it can do to a person. And the fact of the matter is too, I don't want somebody to happen to see this video and recognize me and then tell a particular person, or let's say for example my mother, and if it happened to be something that's not great, she would feel deeply hurt. So in order to prevent that, I have the filter going on, and I will not use real names. I will just talk in broad terms. However, having said that, I will say that everything I say is true, at least true to how I remember it and how I feel about the situation. And none of it's made up or anything like that for drama. I think one of the problems today is people just love drama more than ever. There's drama on TV, drama on video, drama everywhere. Why? Simple. Drama sells. And whatever you're selling, or whatever you're trying to build or produce, whatever your video or business, whatever, sometimes drama can get eyes looking at your product. So I can tell you now, I have no product to sell, no merchandise, no hats, no shirts, nothing of the sort, at least for now. But I'm not here to sell anything, really. I'm just here to collaborate with other people who have certain situations, and this way we can see if we can help each other. Even it's just especially today, even though the pandemic, at least at the recording of this video, seems to be getting better, especially depending on where you are. I'm coming out of New York, and New York is starting to definitely stable. There's still a very much of a need to people to communicate, and it's so difficult these days because people pretty much ignore each other. It's understandable. Like a guy from myself, I mentioned a little bit in the first video. If I felt like the need to talk to somebody, or generally I'll go to like a bar, a restaurant bar or whatever. I know quite a few coming out of New York. where I can go and watch a game, read, which I like to do, stroll through videos on my phone. And more often than not, somebody, whether there be a regular or not, to that bar will see me and strike up a conversation. And that's when I put on my big boy pants and I'm like, all right, Frank, it's time to be social. I'll talk, and lots of times it's fun or change of pace. Because like I mentioned in the first video, I'm not exactly the most social guy. But when I have friends, they're true friends. And that's very important to me. So in my life, I've had really two best friends. And they've been there in my life, in the ins and the outs, the goods, the bads, and we've been together. And another reason I decided to make these videos is, unfortunately, one of my best friends was suffering from cancer for many years. And he battled cancer more or less over 10 years. And it was always like a constant, like, are you okay? He would never really, I don't think, tell you the full story. Well, I knew at times he wouldn't, because he didn't want anybody to worry about him. He didn't want me to worry about him being his best friend. And unfortunately, he passed away this year, and it was pretty rough. And then shortly after him, I had somebody very close to me pass away, and that would be my father. That was very rough as well. I lost two people very close to each other at the same time, more or less, and it was very rough. And still to this day, and it was fairly recent, a couple months ago, I guess, it doesn't seem real. I don't know if that's understandable. I don't know how I should feel. I knew it was coming, so somewhere in the back of my head I was prepared, at least for my best friend, more or less, because he would get sick here and there pretty bad, but it was still a little bit of a shock because he was doing well, at least as far as but like I said, he would never give me the full story. And he was young. He was only 50 something. Now, if any kids are watching this, youngsters, you may say, oh, that's old, but let me tell you something. Time travels really fast, especially after your 20s or what. Time starts shooting by, I should say. It really does. 50 is, it's about half of your life, so it's still plenty of many years through, especially if you take care of yourself. And unfortunately, he only died at 50 something, 53, 54, whatever. And it was a bit of a double whammy because I wasn't able to attend his funeral. So he had two kids, two boys. Well, they weren't boys, they're adults. They're 18, 19. Well, they suffered from losing their dad at early. Me losing my dad wasn't as bad because my dad was 85. Sure, he could have many more years, but my dad was a very practical, cool, great guy, very just a cool, relaxed dude, and he knew he lived a good life. He told me, if I live a few more years healthy, I'll be more than happy. He was worried about his health and just not being like he couldn't take care of himself. So it was very weird having them both pass generally around the same time. But I'll talk about that more maybe in another, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who have loved ones who passed as well and would like to talk about it. Well, I think this is good enough for the second video. And then I guess the next video to come up will be more of a regular video and not like a follow-up video. Alright, so I want to thank you for listening, and do me a favor. If you would like to talk about this subject, if it interests you, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks.